What is the one book that you wish you had written?
There's no particular one book that I wish I'd written. What I would like to have done is write a particular type of book, the sort of book that gets non-readers reading. I suppose I'm talking about things like the Da Vinci Code, Harry Potter, 50 Shades, things that get people talking about books who wouldn't normally engage with the book, and then maybe they go and look for other books, and that's sort of good for readers and writers and publishers.
The short story that you submitted to us, what was the inspiration or the thinking behind it?
Well, in Zagreb there is a museum called the Museum of Broken Relationships, and I read an article about it in a paper, and that museum holds exhibits that are symbolic of a relationship that's broken down. So somebody might donate a wedding dress or an engagement ring or something like that, and I took the idea of that museum and I fictionalised it and set it in London. And in my fictional museum there is a cafe, and the lady that works in the cafe makes it her job to talk to the people who bring an exhibit and get the full story of that object and the relationship and so on. And that is the basis of the story, and I'm hoping to sort of write a series of them. So that the story I submitted to the competition is the first one about a teddy bear that was donated to the museum.
What made you want to start writing?
Well, I started writing about 20 years ago, and at that point I realised that magazines would pay for letters for their letters page. So I started writing them letters, and I got a real kick when I saw my words in print and received a cheque or a prize in the post. And at that time I was reading a lot of parenting magazines, and I realised that from my own experience, because my children were young then, that I could write some of the sorts of articles that were being printed. So I took a course on article writing and how to submit to magazines, and I had a few successes. And then after that I moved on to try short stories, and from there I moved on to try novels. So I suppose it's been a long journey, gradually taking it more seriously.
What's the best advice you've been given or you've read about creative writing?
Right, the best advice came to me from a writing tutor, Alison May, who advised that you get the first draft written as quickly as possible without worrying about the quality of the writing. Just get the story down from beginning to end, because it's much easier to go back and edit a bad first draft than it is to write perfect prose straight onto the paper. And she's an advocate of saying it's okay to hate your first draft. You can think it's really terrible, but then you can always go back and improve upon it. So that's what I do.